Welcome back to riskfeestaxes.com. I'm Imran Razvi with my son Daniel Razvi, who's a tax attorney.
Hello.
We're here to help you uncover some information and discern what is true and what is not true.
Exactly. So you can go to our website, riskfeestaxes.com. Our company is Higher Ground Financial Group. We focus on helping our clients reduce those and eliminate those three big killers in retirement so that they have more freedom to spend. They have a license to spend money and they can enjoy retirement. So you've worked hard all your life, saving and putting aside money. You've done without, you've been frugal, and you've done a great job. And now you are reaching this point where you're ready to retire and you have all this money saved up. So first of all, how do you know, do you have enough saved up? And how much are you going to actually spend in retirement? A lot of people haven't really thought through that part of it. They've just been told, okay, save. And if you've been a good saver, now you have a surplus.
Yeah.
And you might actually have quite a bit more than you really need to retire.
So we run across two types of people at that point. When you get to retirement, the one type of person has saved up all this money. They have a bucket list. They want to travel. They want to do all these things, but they're afraid. They're tied up. They're stuck because they're afraid of what's happening in the market volatility. They don't have an income plan. They don't have anything that really helps them solve the tax problem, those kind of issues. So they're frozen and they don't spend any money because they don't know what they can do.
So these are people that need a plan, a license to spend money. They want to be told that they are able to. So we run the calculations to help you be able to spend as much as possible and never run out.
Right. And if it's too much money, that's okay. That you can do other things with it. But then the second kind of person is the person that has always saved and they don't spend money. They've always lived very frugally. Now they have 7, 8, 10, 12, 15, 20 million dollars, and they're still not spending money. What do you do with them? They don't have anybody to leave it to. They don't have anybody that deserves it, because we got on calls. A lot of clients say, I don't want my kids to get spoiled and get a whole bunch of money and they don't do any work. Or some people that don't have any children and they're like, what do we do with all this money we've been saving? And we're too afraid to spend because that's all we know is how to save. And Daniel likes to call them what?
Pathological savers.
Yes.
If that's you, are you a pathological saver? Is that your mental condition, mental state?
Yes. So that's the issue. If you're a pathological saver, meaning that all you think about is saving money. Okay. Well, to what end? The purpose of money, the purpose of working is really to trade your time for money so you can take care of your food, shelter, and lodging, and hopefully some entertainment and things like that. But if you're well beyond that, now what are you in the world are you saving money for? Because that's all you know, right? That's all you've done all your life.
And I ran across a client recently. She had been working and she's worked and saved, and she got a decent size or medium to small inheritance as well. But most of the money she's got is she actually saved and earned and worked for. And she's now got about $2.5 million saved. And she's just been very frugal, very dedicated. And even though she's never really made more than $100,000 income, she came up with $2.5 million of savings by the time she's getting close to retirement. And she's pretty sure, even at 61 years old, she's pretty sure she has to work several more years. She doesn't have enough to take care of her retirement. And we were able to show her, not only do you have a surplus, you could carve off even just a third of your assets and guarantee with a pension plan, you can guarantee you'll have as more income than you're going to spend with your current lifestyle. So that's only using 1/3 of your money. So the other 2/3 of your money is fun money, is play money. But she's like, but I don't want to play. I'm worried. Maybe I don't have enough. I should save more. And even after we started putting this plan together, she sent me a question. She said, well, okay, now which account should I put my $8,000 Roth contribution in for this year? I said, don't.
You don't
save more money. Don't save more money. You're good. You should be spending money, but it's really hard to have that mindset shift. And you need to see the math behind why we can be confident that you will never run out of money, even if some catastrophic things happen. Because for this client, she was rightly concerned originally because all the money was in the market. So if the market had a big drop like 2008, her $2.5 million would be 1.2 million or 1.1 million. And if she retired then, it would be much harder to sustain the income that you would need for the next 20 or 30 years. And she said, my family has always lived a long time, well into their 90s. So I expect to live to at least 95 or 100. How do I know my money won't run out before I die? And so we were able to alleviate that piece of it. So she is now confident that she won't run out of money, but it's still really hard to make that mindset shift to start spending money. It hurts so much to spend money. So one of the things we help our clients with is we give you ideas. What can you spend, your money on, and how can you enjoy what you work so hard for? And even if it's not traveling, even if it's not doing, going expensive places or buying cool toys and so on, there's other things you can do that could be fulfilling. Maybe there are some charitable interests you have, and maybe not a specific charity, but maybe you could start your own foundation that could give money away to various causes. Wouldn't it be so much better to see the enjoyment and the good and the impact you make while you're alive, whether it's to give to charity, whether it's to give and help your kids? It's much better to see it while you're alive than after you're gone, you're not here to enjoy it and see what the impact is.
Yeah, one of the best things that one of our clients actually put to words, and he said, look, I'd much rather give with a warm hand than with a cold hand.
So what does that mean?
That means while I'm alive and I can enjoy it, I can see the impact I'm making, and also the tax deductions. If I'm giving some things, why not? You can't get tax deductions if you're dead.
Exactly. So I had a client the other day. He had several $1 million that he was going to leave to charity, and because he had his inheritance for his kids all set up with additional money, but he had a few $1 million he was going to give to charity. And I said, why not give it to charity now? If this is not money that's going to be allocated to income, you already know you have enough income from other sources. Go ahead and give it to charity now. You get the tax deduction now. That makes your other income tax free for the next several years. And you can see the impact it makes on that charity today. So he said, oh, I never thought about that. People think about, oh, I want to give to charity when I die. But when you die, you don't get the tax benefit.
See, one of the things is you oftentimes don't want to give the money away while you're alive because you're not sure. There's no certainty of how much you're going to need, what income plan you have, what legacy plans you have. All those things are never really certain with most people, most advisors. Usually you're paying 1% to 3% in fees to advisor and mutual funds, managers, things like that. What are you really getting out of that? I mean, you got $5 million, you're paying, say, 1.5% fee overall, including the internal 12B1 fees and everything else. What is that of $5 million?
It's like $75,000.
$75,000 a year, and you're not even having an income plan? You don't even have a tax plan? What more are you paying that money for? That's a lot of money.
It is.
So what I would say is, look, and when you're retiring, you have a completely different frame of mind than when you're working. When you're working, you're putting money away, your nose to the grindstone, working hard and saving as much as possible all the time. And the thing is, you're saving automatically through your paychecks. So a lot of times you don't even realize how much you're saving. All of a sudden you look up and you got $5 million in your account. That's $2 million or whatever it is. And how'd that come up? Because you kept putting money in every paycheck, and that's what happened. But now we got to look at it differently. And without a plan, you're going to have a lot of uncertainty, a lot of angst, and it's not going to be good for you. And nobody, I don't know about you, but I certainly don't want to die with $5 million that's going to bury with me in my coffin. It doesn't do anybody any good. So you got to have a plan. You got to sit down and really figure out what is it important to you and what's the best way to do that, most tax advantage way to do that. And that's important. Very important piece of this is how to minimize your overall taxes, not only for you, but for your beneficiaries.
And so go to our website, riskfeestaxes.com, and you can schedule a meeting there, a free video call with Higher Ground Financial Group. It's riskfeestaxes.com. We'll be able to help you, give you fiduciary advice, and walk you through, give you those exercises of how to think about spending money now that you're switching from the saving to the spending phase.
And there's different ways to spend. Again, as I said, you got to minimize the taxes that you spend. And so one of the things that Daniel likes to say is you're going to have to pay taxes. That's inevitable. It's going to happen. But if any game you're going to play, you look at the rule book first, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're going to play any game, you look at the rule book, figure out how to play. So if you're going to have to play the tax game, have to pay the taxes, look at the rule book. But who wants to look at 10,000 pages? And that's just the first chapter of taxes. Okay. So you hire somebody that knows the rules. And we get this often. Our clients, when we're talking to them and we give them an idea and say, wow, I didn't know you could do that. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know you could do that. Oh, can you do that for us? Yes, we do all the legal stuff. We do the trusts. We do the foundations. We do all those things and help you go and wade through all that so you don't have those problems. One of the biggest things, though, Daniel, that came to light a few years ago is a study that was done on people that were retiring. The worst people that had a guaranteed income versus that did not have a guaranteed income. They had plenty of money. So it wasn't that they were running out of money, but those that had guaranteed income that they could not outlive, it was to cover all their costs. they live, 20% longer?
That's right.
20% longer. That's just crazy.
I'm age 65. So it starts with at age 65, people who retire then with a guaranteed income lived about 20% longer than those who did not.
That's surprising. Even those people that had more money didn't live nearly as long as the ones that had the guaranteed income.
Especially men. And I think the study specifically focused on men. Men lived about 20% longer with a guaranteed income, which is interesting because a lot of times when we're dealing with a husband and wife, we found that the husband is the one that's the more risky minded. He wants to, looking for the next best thing. This is what I want. And we're always, as men, we always want something better, something bigger, or something better.
We don't want to miss out.
But when you have that certainty and guarantee, that it actually helps you reduce stress that you didn't even know you had, and you do live longer. And it's certainly better. And I heard it explained this way: if somebody is paying you to be alive, because the check stops when you die, if you're being paid to stay alive, you're going to stay alive, so you get more checks.
That's right.
So that's one other way to look at it. But even if you have a surplus in assets, having a guaranteed income, that's really, really important. And I had a client just the other day we were talking to, and he had several $1 million set aside, and he knows even if his current advisor has told him even a 3 or 4% safe withdrawal rate, even from all being in the market with no
more than enough money,
it's going to be more than enough money. But he said, why don't I just peel off a little bit of this and guarantee my income, and then I don't have to stress. I can do whatever I want with the other money. I can give it away. I can spend it. I can just leave it to the kids. It doesn't matter because my own income is certain. And that strategy is called Paychecks and Playchecks. We've talked about this before on the show. Paychecks and Playchecks. You have a guaranteed paycheck, and Social Security is one of those. Your pension, if you have one, might be one of those. And an income annuity might be one of those. But those pensions are what cover your basic living expenses. And then from then on, the rest of the money can be used for playchecks, play money.
Yeah, I love the term. Somebody's paying you to stay alive. So stay alive. Enjoy life.
Exactly.
Okay? Let somebody else pay you to stay alive. That's a great job for retirement. Stay alive. Yes. So riskfeestaxes.com. Make an appointment. Find out if somebody's going to pay you to stay alive.